everyone. Today we have our another new episode, and today we have our debate. This debate is very famous in Asia Pacific, especially our youth community. They really like our debate. So today's debate, this house believe that technology can make people more productive. We have our government side. From the government side, we have our Honorable Prime Minister, Professor David Smith. Professor David Smith, can you hear me?
I can. My camera's just acting up.
Okay, understand. And from the opposition side, we have very strong opponent, Mr. Marshalls, and we have honorable member of the parliament, Mr. Adam. Maybe he has to play a role both of the government and opposition. If Professor Donald joins, so Professor Donald will join in the opposition side. First, I would like to give the opportunity Professor David Smith.
Well, Sharif, thank you so very much. It's my pleasure to begin to talk to our constituents and begin to understand the topic we're covering today. And it really is one that's near and dear to most of us who are on the call today, is that uh, this House believes that technology is making people more productive and making them more productive in almost every segment in the economy. Um, it's important to put out some caveats here, is that technology is a tool to use. Technology is not the solution of its own self, but it's a tool that we can use to enhance productivity, in both producing and enhance productivity of what we want to do with our time. Technology can enhance the productivity of how we learn, how we do commerce. It can enhance the productivity of how we travel and how we do a wide variety. I mean, I would hate to go back to the times where it would take us a week to go from the United States to Europe, or to go from here to Malaysia. Boy, that would be multiple. That would take a month to get here from there on a ship. And so technology has done a lot to make the world smaller. I can remember in my lifetime, if something happened in Asia, if something happened in Europe, it would take days for it to filter to us here in the United States. So it's done a lot of things to begin to make the world smaller, more productive, and a way to do things. And, one of the easiest ways to look is at our mobile device. And, the number of people today, when they forget to take their mobile device with them, I can tell you most of my friends freak out, because it what lets them stay connected. It's what lets them do commerce, do their job, almost any place that they happen to be in the world. Um, I've been traveling a lot last week, this week, traveling next week, and my primary computer I'm using is my mobile phone, and not using it as a phone, but really using it as a mobile computing device. Oh, and I'm using it as a video conferencing tool. Oh, I'm using it as a scheduler. I'm using it as a translator. And all those technologies really come and help us be much more productive. Um, I can use my phone and be understood in dozens of languages around the world when I travel. And without that, I might have my little paper book in the past and struggle going back and forth, where I can just read a sentence into my mobile device and it will audibly translate it to them. It will listen to them and translate it back to me. So those are type of things that, quite honestly, I don't know what we did before it. And then you see the other thing with technology. Technology is helping us be both a generalist and a specialist at the all time. Um, one of the first things we do when we have something we don't understand is we get on one of our devices and we search for it. You know, I used to say Google it, but I really don't use Google anymore. But we go on and search it and try to find what it is and what we're doing. But on the other hand, it also helps us specialize. If you go back to Adam Smith in his 1776 book, The Wealth of Nations, He said that specialization enables people to become more efficient, more productive at a set of tasks. But there's a trade-off on that. And what has happened is technology has reduced that trade-off. The trade-off, he said, was that there's increased dependency on others when you specialize. But today, we've been able to mitigate a lot of the increased dependence on others that Adam Smith talked about by the way we can use advanced technology. And to me, that's helped us begin to do the things that you see put in place in the Wealth of Nations. And it is one of the tools that we really can work on and believe. Technology. Technology will lead job growth for companies. It will lead job growth for people who are transitioning industries. It will lead job growth for youth. Technology has driven to identify many new markets that didn't exist and is helping you bridge markets where a market has matured and helping you go into new markets. It's technology is building a platform for sharing ideas. It's changing the education system. It's changing democracy. It's changing how we look at things. And technology, in a very funny way, is helping cultures come together because we can use technology tools to bridge cultural gaps, where in the past that was really a hard problem to do, and it wasn't there. Um, let me just hit a couple more things in this introduction. Uh, One of the big users of technology is healthcare, and technology has really helped us improve healthcare in many ways. And as illustrated by the COVID, technology has been one of the key elements helping us navigate these COVID issues. From video conferencing, broadcasting like we're doing here, you're doing telehealth, telemedicine, remote monitoring. Technology has stepped up and has helped the world go through this pandemic in a way that without it, I believe life would be much different today. Technology has made it where we can make payments to others more timely, more conveniently, and more secure. During COVID, I hate to say this, but I did online grocery shopping more than I would care to admit because it lets us begin to look at the convenience of doing that. You know, it will get me in trouble here, but I overuse Amazon at time. I almost know that some of the delivery people's names because technology has enabled me to do that. And by using that, it's let me be more productive with my time in the office, my time at home, and my time with others. Um, in there, we see the rise of smart cities. And smart cities are now just beginning their climb into ascendancy right now, where we'll be able to optimize traffic, we'll be able to take a smart city and begin to deal more and more with climate change. It will let us better allocate resources, all by application of advanced technology. You know, we can reduce waste in many ways with technology. And it really works there. Ebooks are one of the things that's really helped us deal with the diminishing forests, for example. Uh, Exercise incentives. I Because I've been walking so much at these two conferences, the healthcare conference in Miami and South by Southwest here in Austin, uh, my watch has told me that I've averaged about 11 miles per day walking at these conferences. Um, you know, Knowing that makes me tired, but on the other hand, it's really good to see the exercise that is there, and technology is the enabler there. Telecommuting, uh, instant answers to everything, and that has been one that has served me. Uh, Last year, I had my dryer go out, and because of COVID, people weren't coming out and repairing stuff. So I was able to go online, search, get YouTube videos up, show me how to do it. I was able to order the parts online, And guess what? I became a dryer repairman, and and I actually fixed it, and it worked. So it is the ability to find instant answers in most instances. Now, understanding though that when you look at instant answers, there is disinformation out there, and we're getting better and better tools about dealing with disinformation. But you have to begin to understand that. But instant answers have changed the world again. It's bringing families together. Uh, I'm oftentimes on video conferences with a family, and we're doing group ones like this where we're bringing multiple family members together that we just couldn't travel and do because of costs, because of COVID and other things. And lastly, I hate to tell you this, but I no longer have paper maps in my cars. I cannot remember the last time I used a paper map. I'm so used to GPS. And it's funny. There's a GPS built into my car. Oh, on my phone, I have three different types of GPSs on it. And sometimes different GPSs update faster and slower than others in different areas. So I've been known to go between, for example, Waze and Google Maps to find somewhere that's in a new development or a new industry area. But I just, maps would be even worse, paper maps. So this technology has done many, many things about helping us be more productive. I can be more productive in work. I can be more productive in my personal life. I can be more productive in education. And yes, I can become more productive in government as well too. And we're beginning to see technology solutions just coming online that is going to help us be more productive in government, more connected to the people we're representing, and really look at ways to improve efficiency and transparency by using technology in even the ways we conduct government. So, Sharif, this is my intro, and I think the topic of this house believes that technology enhances our productivity is actually one that I believe would be hard to argue the other side from. So thank you so much.
Thank you, Professor David Smith. Thank you for your excellent speech as a Prime Minister of this Parliament. Thank you, Professor Donald, joining with us. So you will be deputy leaders of the Parliament from the opposition side. Now I request opposition leader of the Parliament, Mr. Marshall.
Well, thank you, Sharif, and thank you, Prime Minister, for giving an encouraging speech on a topic that would be hard to argue, as you pointed out. First of all, I want to state for the record that the opposition has joined forces with the government. I've been actually sent on a mission. I'm going to probably be meeting with Mr. Putin soon to discuss peace efforts in our little duchy. To actually reduce violence in the world. So I will be getting on a plane in a little less than 15 minutes. So I have to leave for the airport, and then I'll leave it to my able assistant, Professor Donald. The argument that the Prime Minister has made is a good argument, and the opposition doesn't dispute that technology can create efficiency. But I think one of the issues about the topic is that I think we're overlooking several issues. And one is that, yes, technology is important, but technology is not the be all or end all. What is the be all or end all is health and the well-being of our citizens. Can technology deliver that? Sometimes it does, and sometimes it doesn't. Just like I'm been deputized by our Prime Minister to go meet Mr. Putin, who is using technology at this very moment to kill many people. Lots of technology, lots of missiles, lots of technology to kill lots of people, innocent civilians. And so I don't think the question is whether technology makes us more efficient. It certainly makes Putin's not so efficient. His army is stuck in the mud, and that's why he's using missiles to kill people. So technology can be used for good or bad. And we acknowledge that. I think that needs to be acknowledged, and that it's our mission, and we join together with the government in that mission to further the well-being of our population. And so the well-being of the population is not dependent only on technology. It's also first and foremost not technology. It's about democracy and the rights of people to make their own decisions independent. Whether they do it through a paper ballot or an electronic ballot or some other, casting stones, as long as it's transparent, as long as people can have their say and not be preempted like we're seeing on the mission I'm about to go on behalf of our government and our country, and deal with dictators, we need to be in a position to allow us to put first and foremost above technology. Yes, it can make us efficient, can also make us efficient in killing. So I don't think efficiency is the answer or the be all or end all. It's important. I certainly recognize that all the technology that the prime minister uses to get from one place to the other, we use the same technology. We're using the same technology to be on this forum. And hopefully this forum is a demonstration of democracy and not of and transparency. And that's what comes to the table. It's like anything else. You can use a hammer, and you can use a hammer on somebody's head, or you can use a hammer on a nail to build a building. That's technology. It's always been there. It's been there for a long time. When people first used the wheel, which is technology, and invented that wheel for horse and buggies, that was technology. So we're not arguing the point that technology can make us more efficient or less efficient. We know that it's efficiency. The problem is, what's the use of that technology? How do you deploy it in such a way that we keep transparency and our democracy going? And I want to acknowledge that our prime minister actually deputized me to go to meet Putin, and I do thank him for that honor. So I think it's important that we put peace first, we put our people first, we put their well-being first, and that technology is only a tool. It's like any other tool. And the fact is that we get caught up in it because of the internet and the dissemination of information at a rapid pace. And as the prime minister pointed out, he himself pointed out that, yes, there are new tools coming out to deal with disinformation. But I think more important than that, than the tools, is the approach. So what is the approach of anything in life? It should show transparency. It should show integrity. It should show some viability for our population so that they know, yes, technology can create jobs, but it can also take away jobs. We've seen that as well. If just to remind the prime minister and the government, we just had a fishmonger strike in our port, and we got that came about because of technology. But the good news is we were able to negotiate with the people, bring them to the table, and deal with it in not using technology, but using dialogue. So dialogue such as this is good. We applaud it. We applaud what the government's efforts are trying to do. But at the same time, we believe, as the loyal opposition, that technology is not the focus and the prima facie of what needs to be done, but humanity, human behavior. People need to be educated. People need communication. They need freedom of choice, and they need to be able to practice their beliefs as they see fit, as long as they don't harm our neighbors. And that may or may not have to do with technology. Right now, we know that technology is being used for nefarious purposes in other parts of the world, to keep track of people's who they are and where they are. In China, they're using facial recognition to subdue an entire people. That is technology. Is it efficient? Well, maybe so, but it's certainly not human. It's not humane. So the loyal opposition would like the government to continue to work with us to promote peace in the world, promote peace amongst our people, but understand that the focus is there might be not that much difference between us and the prime minister. We do believe that technology is good for helping create better crops, improving our water quality and our sewage systems and everything else. But at the same time, it's the people that make the difference, not the technology. And without people, we're just robots. And if we're robots, what do we need everybody else for? So our contention on the loyal opposition is that yes, technology can be efficient, but can it be efficient for good or ill? So the only thing that is standing between us and the ill is us, to be able to work together in our democracy as we're doing now and promoting the well-being of our population through dialogue, integrity, transparency, and human behavior. It's human behavior, not the technology, that is really at issue. And so the prime minister said it's hard to argue against technology. That's true, but it really isn't the main focus. The true focus for all our citizens out there is to understand that we are here as the loyal opposition to hold the government account, but also by the same token to offer solutions for humanity, for our humanness, for our ability to interact in this world in a peaceful and educated manner. Get our children educated. Yes, they're going to learn technologies, but by the same token, they're also going to have to learn human skills of interacting with each other. And so, on that regard, it's almost time for me to go to the airport and catch my plane to meet Putin. So I want to thank the Prime Minister for appointing me in that regard. And I will leave my able assistant, Professor Donald of the Ministerial Committee on Peace and Technology, to take my place once I'm gone. So thank you all very much. Peace be with us, as Spock once used to say. May the peace be with us. So all the best. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Marshalls. You did excellent job, and we wish you all the best, because your success is very important. Because now we have a lot of challenges with this wire. If you can handle Mr. Putin, just let us know. We will celebrate for your success, and this is very very important for this parliament.
Well, I just want to make one last statement, Sharif and the Prime Minister. The reason I think the Prime Minister sending me is because it's not about technology. It's my degree, I have a degree in clinical psychology, and we are dealing with a sociopath. So I don't expect real easy answers with Mr. Putin. I'm not sure he's going to change his behavior. Most sociopaths do not. But we're reaching out. We're doing what we believe in our democracy is what has to be done. Try to create some dialogue if possible. If not possible, then so be it. He will make his choice. We will make ours. But obviously, we will make the effort. And I thank, again, the Prime Minister for sending me on this mission.
And Minister Marshall, do remember to take the gift from our country to him, the 3 cases of tequila that can help neutralize him during your negotiations.
Well, that's duly packed. It's on board the plane, from what I've been told. And by the way, everybody knows that tequila as a liquor is the opposite of most liquors. So hopefully it will work on him and we can change his behavior patterns. But again, as you all know, as a clinical psychologist, I'm just telling you, he's a sociopath. It's not easy to change sociopaths, but we will make every effort on behalf of our country and our government. And I will duly get him to drink as much tequila as possible.
Looks like Sharif's frozen.
I have to leave now. Bye. Take care.
Bye. Sharif looks frozen.
It looks like Sharif is frozen. So, Mr. Adam, it's your time to go ahead and speak now.
Okay, thank you. Well, I like to use our own webcast as an example of positive change when it comes to technology. Platforms like this give us a chance for ordinary people to have a say and to have their voices heard. I mean, a lot of shows and televised discussions like ours, but in previous generations and in previous decades, it was a case of having to be a public figure like an author or a recognised expert within one's field. Take Jeffrey Mishlove, for example. He always interviewed experts, scientists, writers, authors, recognised people, public figures who many audiences would know already, recognisable individuals. But now this platform has given more people like me included, a chance to get involved with interesting projects such as ours, where we could discuss all these different subjects and topics with highly educated people, such as all my colleagues here, and that's a real pleasure. So technology and social media have been a godsend for getting one's thoughts, ideas, passions, our voices out there for all of us. It's just a click away from having discussions and debates. And as a restless writer who writes non-stop, Facebook, for instance, has been a godsend for me as a platform to get my thoughts out there, like a magic notepad that instantly transmits your writings and thoughts straight into the heads of your audience, into the heads and minds of people who want to hear from you. So, as well as being a wonderful set of tools for getting my creative outpourings out there, the creative outpourings of others, it has also made it easier for creatives and their audience to come together. I've started building a little following of people who like, react and comment on my content, which creates this feedback loop of content creation, a collaborative back and forth where what I say or write inspires more ideas in my audience. They might agree or respectfully disagree with whatever it was I wrote. They could feed that back to me, so they learn something from me and I learn something from them, and back and forth and back again and so on forever. So technology and digital platforms and social media also help to facilitate finding potential future collaborators, people who want to co-author something with you, or form a music group or band with you, remix music, make videos and short films and feature-length productions. So all this has revolutionized transmitting creative works, finding your audience, finding suitable collaborators and potential creative collaborators, investors as well. Technology has made all of these more streamlined, efficient and time-saving. It's also saved paper that previous generations would have used to write letters all the time between each other, trying to determine when each of them are free, available to meet up, how to travel to one another, to plan this and that. All our technology and smart devices have saved so much time from communicating with each other, buying tickets to travel, organising and synchronising all our calendars and schedules with help from apps and outsourcing so much of what was once very time-consuming organisational faffing about. So all this time saved means more time to be productive. Time is money, but time is also currency needed for productivity. And the more time you save, the more productive you can be, the more prolific you can be. I've mostly talked about creative energy going just one way so far, from head to hand into computer and out into the web and in the world. But it is also revolutionary going the other way as well. I have learned so much from reading websites and screen devices at my fingertips and at my hands. I dread to think how many gaps in my knowledge there would still be gaping and compromising me in my life without all these repositories of knowledge and information. And courtesy of all that, I feel like more of a polymath and Renaissance man than I ever dreamed, than I ever thought possible without all this technology. So, yeah, that's what I have to say.
Thank you, Mr. Adam. Now I request Deputy Leader of the Parliament from the opposition side, Professor Donald, for your speech. Professor Donald, for your constructive speech, you will get 9 minutes. And for your rebuttals, because your opposition leader actually give you opportunity for rebuttal, you will get another 3 minutes. So your speech altogether 12 minutes.
Okay. Well, it's hard to imagine. When I came, I thought that the topic was going to. I thought the topic we were going to talk about is whether or not technology makes people more productive, and for some reason that hasn't been even touched. Productivity is it's a measure of output of labor output. So, for instance, basically what it is that the more that's produced with the fewer people, the higher productivity is. So the question is, are we able to produce more with fewer people? If that's because of technology, and if that's the case, yes, productivity is increased. And I don't really dare try and share my screen, but interestingly enough, productivity went up quite a bit right after World War II, and it's been mixed from 2007 to now. It's been actually quite low, but it was So the question of whether productivity has been changing is something that we can just look up. It's not a question that we could debate. It's something it's an external. And so, but then there's always the question of cause and effect. And so just because there's correlation between the increase in technology and the increase in productivity, how can we be sure that it's the technology that's creating the increase in productivity? And I think you can switch kind of to another meaning of productivity, which is something that is a subjective view, where people say to themselves, well, I feel I was really productive today because I didn't spend a lot of time, reading the news, and I actually wrote whatever it is that I was hoping to write today. So I was very productive today, as opposed to not being productive, and so then the question would be is how could we find out if people were really being more productive in that sense? And we can take surveys and ask people how they feel and stuff, but that's subjective. But the kind of point I'm trying to make is that if people are producing more stuff and we are more productive officially, if we can find a way to tie that to technology, it goes to what Marshall said, which is that have we really changed people's lives in any particular way? So just saying that we're more productive doesn't necessarily mean that we're productive in useful ways, because really what we're talking about is that we're getting more out of people in the less amount of time. So a person output increases, and therefore their productivity is increased. But what is happening to that person in their life? If that person's output is increasing, is their pay going up? Traditionally, for the longest time, that when productivity went up, people's pay went up, but now that's stagnated. So what's winding up happening is that it may be true that technology is increasing productivity, but that excess money is just going into dead places like futures and derivatives and things like that don't actually add any value to the economy necessarily. They just is money making money on speculation. And so I think that I can't have any way of being able to prove or to disagree that that technology is increasing increasing productivity. But what I do question is that increase in productivity any value to the people? And then there's also one other thing that I want to say is if we're doing so well in productivity, then why is it that unemployment is the lowest it's been in forever? Because what that means is that the ability of the economy to use every single human being's time to the maximum is like very high right now. So in other words, if everybody's working, because everybody's working, that means that they're not productive enough to do everything that we need to do. So if you just look at the cause and effect, you have to ask yourself the question, is overall, it could conceivably be reducing productivity because we're not getting everything done now. So I think that I go back, I'll have to support what Marshall said, is that we're not really talking about humans' lives. And while we may be increasing productivity, that's not necessarily, we don't know that for sure. There's indications that we aren't, and it's also, does it benefit anybody except for the super rich? I don't think so. So that's all.
Thank you, Professor Donalds. Now I request our Honorable Prime Ministers for closing remarks. Can you unmute, please?
I so appreciate the opportunity to have this debate for our great nation, because there is places where we see it increasing the productivity of our citizens. We see it increasing the productivity all around with what we're doing, and bringing people into productive lives that weren't there before, which I think is one of the biggest elements that we can really see this type of benefit from. Um, I will tell you that as I look at some of the places where we have really struggled to help with people over millennia, we see places coming in where technology is helping with that. And productivity is such an interesting area to play those in. Um, the definition of technology that I prefer is that technology is the application of knowledge to achieve a result. And with that, I see tremendous opportunities for where we've done things and where simple innovation has helped. Um, I will show you the winner of the Best of Show at the Innovation Awards at South by Southwest. And I happen to know this company well because at the International Accelerator, I'm a mentor to them. And I had to exclude myself from voting on this one. But this device here is for the blind and visually impaired that will let you have freedom back to walk, to go across streets, to go and do things without having people have to guide you. It's brought independence back to them. And guess what? It has made a whole class of people very productive. And this is a startup, which is like what we would have in our country. And this particular startup only has 5 employees right now. But yet they've been able to apply technology to bring a smart device to the blind and visually impaired to make them safer, to make them faster, to make them more productive. And at a conference the size of South by Southwest, this is a great example of how technology can be used to help make classes of people more productive. And, our minister, Mr. Donalds, questioned the productivity side, but I see productivity in a lot of places. Technology has helped us step closer to work-life balance, which helps productivity everywhere. Technology has helped us eliminate some of the tedious tasks and helped us focus more on what we can need to do to be more productive. Um, you know, Let me just hit a couple of pure productivity sides on it. Technology has made training a lot more productive. Traditional learning development methods using classroom sessions, the retention rate on those is that 9 out of every 10 employees were unable to retain the information. When you apply advanced technology, that retention rate goes up to where 6 out of every 10 people were able to retain the knowledge. And a blended work works there too. You begin to look at Communications. Harvard Business Review surveyed managers from different industries, and 71% that said most of their in-person meetings are a waste of time. But what they've come up with is because of the ability to do electronic meetings, that percentage has gone down. And many people in electronic meeting can multitask, where they cannot do that in a regular meeting. Accessibility. Technology has made information accessible to a wide range of people, uh, and and that has really helped. Inc. magazine says that accessibility enabled by technology has dramatically changed. They look at Google's headquarters, uh, and it's sleek, functional, and Google believes that at their headquarters, their productivity has gone up about 30%. Flexibility. Uh, Last year, the Global Workforce Analytics and Flex Job Report showed that remote work has increased over 12% across the U.S. Workforce. That was not done, cannot be done without technology. The way people learn now, particularly since we know we're in a time of lifelong learning, most of that lifelong learning today is delivered by technology, which makes us more productive there. Just a couple of little statistics. Forbes, in a recent survey, uh, says that 64% of business leaders say that flexible working schedules enabled by productivity has had a positive impact on productivity. Finance online, 55% of retailers believe that technology has enhanced their productivity. Uh, there, you begin to look at others. CIO magazine, 87% of CIOs believe that digitally empowering their employees can drive between 5 to 25% additional revenue growth, which translates to more to more productivity. So, there's a lot of it there. There's many ways where technology can improve productivity. And, today in this debate, we've really just given over a very short introduction to the way that this technology can be used to enhance the life of our citizens, the life of our uh, education environment and the students, how our government regulators and elected officials can interact with you. It's brought transparency into place, which has been a challenge before. And it lets us be a part of the global community, independent of our size. Because of technology, we have a positive voice that can work in the environment. Just example with us sending Minister Marshall. We're using technology to do that. In the past, our voice would not have been important if it had not been the technology that we're using to do this. And there are some negative sides, but through careful consideration and education, those can be mitigated and made very productive. Yes, technology is used for war, but a lot of the things that have done that have driven a lot of very beneficial things for peace as well. Technology has driven us to where we're headed back to the moon again. We have plans to travel to Mars. So, yes, I have to really say that technology does make the citizens of this globe more productive, and that it is the element that can help level the playing field, which was so difficult in the past. Technology can help us optimize. Google has just announced that quantum artificial intelligence is now available to people around the world to optimize our supply chains, to optimize our logistics. That in the past, we've taken large groups of people, many spreadsheets, many stopwatches and things to begin to look at it and doing it. But we are using technology as a tool. We're using technology a tool to make our life better, make our companies more productive, to make our own personal time more productive. And To me, the government is correct in our proposition that this House does believe that technology makes us more productive and allows our company to have a rightful place in the technology leadership of this world. So, Sharif, thank you so much for allowing me to have this closing argument.
Thank you, Honorable Professor David Smith, for your excellent speech. Yes, technology is very important, and yeah, let's say World Talent Economy Forum, we are 100% remote, our organization. So definitely, technology give us benefit. On the other hand, opposition side they bring people, peace, and policy, which is also important. We believe in the present situations if we do not have enough peace for this world, uh, as well as if we do not have proper care, what is our motto, especially World Talent Economy Forum, we focus on people because people invent technology. People develop like startup. People go for entrepreneurship. People take a lot of initiative. So we have to be very much careful about people. If we can properly train our people, then they become productive. Otherwise, it's difficult. So what we get from the both of the government side and from opposition side, this is really helpful for our global community, especially those who are our audience. I believe they have a lot of questions from the audience, and already they get answer from our speakers. I believe that technology is definitely helpful, and definitely we have to be very much focused on the people and the people peace. And at this present condition, definitely World Talent Economy Forum against any kind of war. So next week we have a very effective week, because it has a International Water Day. For International Water Day, we have four episodes, including this debate, as well as we have a special episode on Ukraine and Russia crisis. And many famous speakers from around the world, they will join in this program. And I request Professor David Smith, Mr. Adam, and Professor Donalds, you also can join any of our program next week, because your support is very important. You continuously support us from both of the front line and the back end, which is very much helpful for us. I request all of our audience, please share our content as much as possible, because when you share our content, then we can reach more people and we can understand more people and we can help more people. This is our objective. So thank you everyone for excellent session. Especially, I personally believe if we can make all parliament like this kind of productive, informative, and knowledgeable, then our parliament can change political views. And if they change the political views, maybe this world become more peaceful, this world become more productive. So thank you for your excellent contributions, Professor David Smith, Professor Donald, and Mr. Adam. Thank you. Bye bye and take care.